Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into the AI hiring revolution. It's this massive shift that's promising incredible efficiency, but it's also raising some really big questions about fairness and, humanity.
So let's just dive right in with a question that's becoming more and more real every single day. For millions of job seekers out there, this isn't some what-if scenario. It's already happening.
So just how common is this? Well, get this. A staggering 87% of companies are already using AI in the recruitment process. It's not some trend that's on the horizon. It is the new standard, right now.
Okay, so why the mad dash to automate everything? First up, we're going to explore the undeniable allure of AI in hiring, that big promise of a faster, smarter, and way more efficient process.
The difference here is just night and day. Think about the old way, manually sifting through hundreds, maybe even thousands of resumes. It could take weeks, and people get tired, they make mistakes. But AI, it operates at a scale and speed that's just, it's impossible for a human team. It works 24/7, analyzing and ranking candidates in just seconds. And AI's role goes way beyond just reading resumes. It's systematically tackling the most time-sucking parts of hiring. We're talking about sourcing candidates from these huge online pools, handling all that back and forth of scheduling, and even running initial skills tests, all of it without a human lifting a finger.
And the results? Whoa, they can be absolutely dramatic. Just look at a company like Unilever. By putting an AI-driven system in place, they cut their hiring cycle by 75 to 90%. To put that in perspective, that's the difference between filling a role in a few weeks instead of a few months. It's a game changer.
And this really gets to the heart of why hiring managers are so excited. When you ask them, 67% say the number one advantage is just speeding the whole thing up. And right behind that, 58% point to AI's power to find more candidates. It's a clear mandate for speed and scale.
But here's the thing. The argument for AI isn't just about efficiency. It's also about fairness. Let's go back to Unilever for a sec. That same AI process? It led to a 16% increase in workforce diversity. The promise here is that, by focusing on objective skills, we can maybe, just maybe, start to remove some of that human bias from the equation. But for every story of incredible efficiency, there's a human cost. So now, let's flip the script. What does it actually feel like to be a candidate in this new age of AI recruitment?
This quote from a talent leader, wow, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It perfectly captures that sense of alienation so many people feel. You spend hours and hours tailoring your resume, you pour your heart into a cover letter, you send it off, and then crickets. Complete silence. And there's actually a name for this whole phenomenon. It's called the empathy gap. It's that huge disconnect between how much this means to the applicant and the cold, impersonal, automated process they're up against. It's all about a lack of feedback, a lack of connection, and honestly, a lack of basic human courtesy. And this isn't just some vague feeling people have. The data is crystal clear. A study from Pew Research found that a whopping 66% of adults in the US would flat out refuse to apply for a job if they knew an AI was making the final decision. That shows a fundamental lack of trust. All right, so this skepticism, it really points to some deeper, more serious problems. Let's take a look at the very real risks that companies are facing when they lean too heavily on automation without the right kind of oversight. And this brings us to a super important point. An AI is only as unbiased as the data you train it on. The infamous case of Amazon's hiring tool is the perfect and frankly a kind of scary cautionary tale. Because it was trained on a decade of resumes that were mostly from men, the AI literally taught itself to penalize any resume that contained the word women's. And believe me, the dangers do not stop at bias. Relying too much on automation can completely erode the trust of your candidates, it can expose your company to all sorts of new legal risks, and, ironically, it can undermine the very diversity efforts you're trying to support by filtering out unconventional but high-potential people.
So this all sounds pretty dire, I know, but it doesn't have to be a choice between technology and humanity. The real question is, how do we get the best of both worlds? The solution, it turns out, is all about finding a thoughtful balance.
The way forward really requires a clear, balanced strategy. Step one, you have to see AI as a helper and aid, not a total replacement for human judgment. Then you can use that AI to power empathetic communications, but you absolutely have to make sure there are real human touchpoints in the process. Be transparent about how you're using it. And when you do all that, you're really just using AI to free up your recruiters' time to do what they do best, actually connect with people.
Look, if there is one golden rule to take away from all this, let it be this. Keep a human in the loop. Always. AI can screen, it can rank, it can recommend. But that final critical decision of who to hire has to rest with a person. Someone who can evaluate nuance and culture fit and potential in a way that no algorithm ever could.
This is really the core mantra for a balanced approach. Use technology to handle all the repetitive, high-volume stuff. Then, you take all that time you saved and you reinvest it into creating a more personal, more respectful, and more engaging experience for every single candidate.
This quote, I think it just perfectly captures the future for recruiters themselves. The fear isn't really about being replaced by AI. It's about being replaced by someone who knows how to use AI. The best people in the field will be the ones who master these tools while doubling down on human skills like empathy and intuition.
So we're going to end with a question for every company and every hiring manager out there. As you build your recruitment strategy, ask yourself, are you designing it purely for speed and efficiency, or are you designing it for the people you hope to attract? Because the very best companies will find a way to do both.